Yo, people, it's another episode of Truth and Bantz UK. It's your boy Flash. Got Shaz Dolly up in the place, and today we got none other than actually we got two people today. We got Brother Minister, Black, and we got Big Suls. Yeah? And today's episode is Emancipation. Like, if you don't know these two people right here, they've been doing a lot in the community for the black people, raising black people's awareness, for the kids, and basically just trying to pave a way to better the black people and the black culture for the next generation. And
thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to big you up because you lot be doing a lot. Brother Minister, you might have seen me give speeches at certain events and that. He does events for the black community, just trying to raise awareness. You might have seen Big Suls with his bookstore, Black Child Promotions outside Tottenham, like Brick. I see you.
History all over.
North, south,
east, west.
Yeah. 100. All right. So to start, like, Brother Minister, like, how did your journey start with the mind state and trying to raise awareness for the culture? Where did it begin? Where's your beginnings? Tell the people about your beginnings.
To be honest with you, I don't really know when. I was happy to say I grew up in a cultural household. So
England?
In England, yeah, where black was not necessarily there wasn't revolutionaries, but there was always an influence on your black. Like my grandmother, I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother would say, "You're black, you got to work twice as hard," and it makes you start to question things like, "What are you talking about?
Why? Yeah.
What is this black thing you're going on about?" And things like that. And you grow up, go to school with, you start to notice that there's a certain thing taking place where we leave school and end up in prison. So you start noticing that a lot of your friends are going to prison for a very long time, and I was just lucky enough to escape it. Whereas a lot of my school friends was very close with, a lot of them got 10, 15, 20 something years in prison.
Wow.
And I was blessed to not have to get those sentences, but it made me think. And then I started to read.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, and then that was it.
You started to read what? That was the...
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie to the people. The first book I started to read was the Bible.
Okay.
So that was my first book that I was, I left school, no GCSEs, could barely read or write, to be honest with you. But I started reading the Bible, and then I started
how come you left school with no GCSEs? And...
we go to school, we're not trying to learn. It's like a boot camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanted to be a rapper. I thought I was gonna be the next Tupac Shakur. Do you know what I mean? What did I need school for?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't really fit into where I thought my life was going. And then again, I didn't think I would live past 30.
Okay.
So I never planned to be older than the age of 30.
Really? I've heard a lot of black men say this.
Yeah.
It's deep.
It's the culture, it's the music. It's like we're not, although I always, speak on behalf of the youth, and when I hear people trying to talk bad on the drill music, but at the same time, I'm not an idiot. I know drill music is the reason why these youths are like, it's hyping up the violence.
100%.
But we live it. So I'm saying to the parents, don't judge your child, listen to what they're saying, understand their world they're living in, and then maybe you can bridge the gap. Because these people are trying to turn parents against children, children against parents, women against men, light skin against dark skin.
Alright, so back to the way you was come. Alright, so the Bible's first book you read,
and I started to see the people of the Bible was black. So when they started talking about all of these prophets in this book, they was all black. And then there was an elder in my community. There was a little white book. There's a white and blue book called Message to the People by the Honourable Marcus Garvey. And when I read that book, my whole life changed. I no longer wanted to be a criminal. I no longer wanted to act a certain way. I no longer wanted to follow my friends. It gave me confidence in myself that I could say no. What you are doing is an idiot thing. This is what we need to be on. So it gave me that confidence in self where before I was looking validation from my peers. As a young man coming up.
So what was the main specific kind of things in there that gave you?
Well, the actual book here, for to give a background on the book.
What's the book again?
It's The Message to the People by Marcus Garvey. You can get it from Black Child Promotions, message in DM or whatever. But it's a course. I think in the book it had 33 courses. So when Marcus Garvey knew that the powers, so-called powers, the B was coming for him, they're going to deport him and get him out of the country, he set up a course that he could teach the next leaders.
Wow.
So he selected the best people in his organization, the youth, and trained them
Wow.
with this course. And then a man called Tony Martins is one of the leading scholars, God bless the dead or ancestor now, but he was the one that, you know, put this together and made it available to the public, when at the time a lot of people were saying you shouldn't even release this book, it's got the secrets.
Okay.
That is something that should have been protected. And now if we put this out there, it's going to be acceptable to everybody. So what really happened was, it was Robert Hall, which is a light-skinned Jamaican man. He's written volumes big like this, 13 of them, on Marcus Garvey, but he's not necessarily a Garvey, he's more of a historian, where he gathers information.
Right.
But Tony Martins wanted to control the narrative, so he released the book before they could use it. So that's kind of what happened. But the book is really powerful. I urge any parent out there, you know, to have that book for their child. I think they should have it from, I used to say 13, but now I think we should be reading that from about 11 and 10.
Yeah, let me get that book. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
That's my
definitely.
order.
Yeah, and it's for boys and girls. I mean, every book is going to affect everybody differently. So some people might say, but I've read that book, it didn't have that same effect on me.
Yeah.
But you got to understand where my mind was at.
Yeah.
When I read this book, I was maybe 18 years old, 17, 18. The first tattoo I got was MOB. You know, I was running around, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't,
money over beat.
you understand? I didn't have any substance to me.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I was just another NIGGA, as they would say.
Right.
And this book made me say, hold on, that's not who you are. This is who you are. Like how they say when it's got like chapters on God, how we must view God. Character made me think, wow, character. Garvey said, character's better than money. If you get a bad name in your community, you've destroyed yourself. You should, to tarnish someone's character is the worst thing you can do to somebody.
Worse.
That's why I say to the sisters then, when they, like a lot of sisters have a problem with their partner or man, they see, and they might scream, oh, you've destroyed this man's character. Now this man is never, and you could be lying. I'm saying that, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, of course that.
I'm just talking that there's an element where people lie in it, and I'm just using that as an example to say people can't recover from that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some things in life, if your name gets tarnished, for instance, if I come to your house and I steal from your house, you're calling me a thief now.
Yeah, that's your label.
You tell him, you tell this.
I'm not going to have you at our house.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So now your name, you're in the community, you're labelled as a thief. Do you understand? You're not, your character is not, it's not a good character, it's not in good standing, as they would say in the nation of Islam. But you're not in good standing. You know, we should aspire for good character. When people say that's a good brother, that's a very good sister, very good brother, beautiful person. We should just not rather than he's a bad man.
Yeah.
His character is he's quick to kill, stab a brother, but when the police come, he runs. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, we got so much energy for self, but when it comes to other people, we don't have that same viciousness and ferociousness that we show each other. So that book, going back to the question, so it will start with the Bible. I started to see myself in the Bible. Then that book kind of added the racial pride into it now. We have to build something now, not just say we're black and proud, because that's all right, saying you're black and proud, but at the end of the day, we need institutions, we need things in the community to be able to grow our children.
100%.
Safe, because listen, what we do, the reality is this, we send our children to them to be educated.
Yeah.
We don't have our own schools, right? Then we don't create no jobs for them, so we send our children, after they get educated by them, to go and serve them in their workforce. They're underpaid, racism, a lot of sisters said that they're forced to do certain things to keep their job. I've heard it all before.
Yeah.
Like, but we don't have no infrastructure to grow our children in, so that they never have to go to these people. If you look at some of these religions, they've got Muslim schools, so the child goes to the Muslim school, so that we're not indoctrinating him against their religion and their culture and their way of life. Then after they finish that, they got their businesses now where they can go into.
Yeah.
Do you understand? What do we have?
We need that. I know there's some Saturday schools.
Which is good. I know a few Africa Bantu.
Yeah.
We got Africa Bantu. They've been going on for over 20 odd years in the community doing a great service. But I'm saying to you that Saturday schools is not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. We need to be training our children every single day, because they train our children every single day. They don't do it once a week. They don't do it once a month. They do it every minute of every hour.
Yeah.
And we need to get to that point if we're trying to save ourselves.
But you see where you was talking about the community, the religious, the Muslims got their own. But is it would it be the same to compare the religious to a race?
No. That's one of the reasons why we haven't been able to get a school in this country, because you can't get a race school in this country.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
not
thinking.
work like that. What they do is they say, I've got a Church of England school, I have a Catholic school, and you can't get into this school unless you're a Catholic. But they're not doing it by race. It's not done, we're trying to do it by race, it's not going to work, but I'm saying we have to create an African spirituality or African philosophy that we say this is what we believe, and then we can get it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get it on race. A lot of race, the race, as they say, the race card, like, they use that against us now.
100, yeah.
So now even if we start to talk about race things, the same law that we fought for is going to be used against us. We fought for laws to be created so that they can't be racist to us. Now that same law they're going to use against us and say, well, hold on a second, you're only buying from black people. You're talking about Black Pound Day and black businesses, and it's racist. Why can't you go to everybody? You sound like Hitler. Like, this, the same they're going to use against us. So I'm saying that we shouldn't be trying to change any of these laws. We just need to be installed in our culture what we believe in our community and thriving off of it. Like the Turks do it, the Greeks do it, the Jews. Well, the Jews have got the thing on monopoly, but they do it without having to say anything.
Yeah, they just
They do it amongst them.
Natural.
Yeah.
They say that the Jewish man's money stays in his community 7 times before it goes back outside. We get a pound today. It's gone to somebody else within minutes. Go to the shop, buy a drink. They buy a Riz, even if you want to buy toilet paper, like certain little things that I said to myself around about that time, it's like, a lot of us smoke weed. Why is it we've never invented a Rizzler?
Oh my God.
Do you understand? We go to toilet every day, but none of us have got a toilet paper.
It's true.
So all of the entrepreneurs out there, you know, I'm giving you some ideas, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if some of them rappers got this little reason. I'm not sure. I see Snoop Dogg or something. Maybe have the brand or something.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, Snoop Dogg's got a brand.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's just his that. You think?
But we've got a monopoly in a way whereby the brothers in London have got it.
No.
You know, it's a global thing, and we can do that by knowing each other, like having links. You know, we walk down the postcode barrier every day. I break it down. I go outside of where areas where they said that you're not from this area, you shouldn't go. He's always in South, I'm always in Tottenham. He said, you're South, man, what are you doing there? Do you understand? Man from North allegedly can't go to these places. Man from Wood Green can't go to Seven Sisters or the farm. Or man from Peckham will struggle going to Brixton. But we're all the same people.
Same conditions.
So these things are the reason why we're not making no money. Because I need my brothers in Tottenham to support my team. I need my brothers in Peckham to support my team. I can't just rely on one small postcode to raise. If we're talking about making money, like we've got our sell to everybody, and then we get to the point where we don't just sell to black people. We are a business. We want the bag, so we sell it to anybody that wants these business. You can come and buy these with all this toilet paper. I like to use simple little things like that. Because if I was to say to you, name one thing here that we have as a people here, that nobody else don't make the most money out of. Everything that we have, they monopolize it and they make more money than us. The music, for instance.
We don't even have the music.
We look at a Jay-Z or a Puff Daddy and say he's rich, he's nearly a billionaire. But if Jay-Z and Dr. Dre and these men are nearly a billionaire, think about how much money they made the people they work for.
Oh, right. Yeah, we ain't got nothing.
No, I'm not even hair products, it's the Indian man. Cream, same thing. There was a shop in my area, right? Hairdresser shop, not to cut you, but I've gone in there when I started getting knowledge. I was more fired up back then than I am. I'm more understanding now to life and things. But I went in there and I said to the Indian man, I said, what are you going to do when my people wake up? Because you're selling these things, yeah? You don't sell these things.
I always go and pack some for a lot of trouble.
But they don't sell these things to stuff. They don't sell these things to their women. They've set up this for our women. So I said, what are you going to do when my people
And
wake up?
they don't know about any of these products, you know. Go in there and ask them for beeswax. They don't know nothing.
Breadfruit is how you got the breadfruit.
But they will tell you to go and pick up that relaxer or go and pick up that. Trust me. Triggered me, sorry, God.
No, that's fine. So I'm saying, you know what he said to me? He was an honest man. You know what he said to me? He said he's going back home.
Oh my days.
He's made his money, innit? He can go back, he's built his palace back home.
Look, now you got people that do all the nails. Big $1 million industry now, nails. The Koreans are doing it.
Yeah.
They come all the way over here, you know, just to do nails. The DVDs, you know, like a lot of people might not know this shit. There was a man coming from China, you know, on some smuggle people thing, just to come over here and sell DVDs to our people.
Yeah, they're not even watching those people that smuggling in.
You understand what I'm saying? This is what it is. So we got to start thinking about these things. And I'm saying the opportunity is here for us to do anything we want to do. Marcus Garvey said, without confidence, you're twice defeated in life.
Wow.
So with confidence, you want even before you try. Because if you know you're worth something, if somebody tries to treat that, it's what you talking. I don't know my value.
Yeah.
And we just need to know our value. They devalued us. The highest thing on the market, you know, the black man and the black woman, they devalued.
Wow, that hurts.
And we believe them now. Because now I'm a nigga and now she's a bad bitch. Excuse my language, but that's what we've internalized now.
I hear you 100%. And yeah, and I see that what you're doing, you've been trying to make everyone aware of all of these things. So I definitely have to pick you up. But when was the first time that you actually went out and started speaking in public?
Alright, so one of my friends here, he was doing, he had this idea called the hip hop generation. So big up Tom Tafar, right? Yeah, but when he watches this, I'll send it to you. But he had a thing called hip hop generation, yeah, and it was in Oval. Right? And he was able to get a place and he was doing his thing. And I was like, alright, cool. So he had a course thing that he went on. So I went on the course and there was a sister in there. And her dad is big in the Pan-African community. These times I'm not even in the Pan-African community. I don't even really know about this Pan-African. I'm from the hood. That's all I know. I didn't even know they had things like this in the UK. So I'm there talking, and because, Garvey's opened up my mind, I said I was Marcus Garvey's grandson. She knew I wasn't biologically his grandson, but I said, yeah man, and I did think me and Marcus Garvey's grandson. She's gone home and told her dad that, yeah, I met this guy and he said he's Marcus Garvey's grandson, and the dad said, yeah, I would like to meet this young man. So Elder Minka is his name, yeah? So when I met Elder Minka, he said, yeah, I'm going to put you on, we spoke a little bit, and he put me on my first panel in the university. First time, put me in there, and I teared it up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I teared it up. It got so bad that some of the speakers didn't like what I was saying, yeah? I don't want to call out his name for that's poor character. But he would challenge me on something I said. So I said, are you a Garvey yet? He said, no. It's not okay, that's why you don't understand this. So he said, Marcus Garvey never said that. And because I was read that book, the White and Blue book, it kind of tells you how to maneuver, like it tells you how you operate. So I carried the evidence with me. I had the books in my bag. So I said, okay then, here you go. So this is Marcus Garvey's words. Read that for me. Marcus Garvey said, because back then, yeah, I didn't speak for myself. Everything I said came from a book.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand this thing. So I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I was heavy quotable. Like I would quote so much people, but they didn't hear these quotes before, because many of these people have never read the books.
Right.
So when he saw that Marcus Garvey actually said that, his face dropped to the ground.
Shame.
And he felt shame because he tried to belittle me.
Yeah, of course.
Because he didn't agree with what I was saying, but he could have pulled me to the side after and said, well, do you understand? But he wanted to shame me, and then he ended up shaming himself. Because he's a big so-called professor. And I was just a little young youth from the estate, or from the roads, as they would say. So that was the first time, and then from there, I did it for a few years, went to Africa, joined the Black Panthers.
Nice.
Went to Africa, came back, was disheartened, and I kind of, stopped for a few years, and then recently.
What disheartened you in Africa?
Well, when I first went to Africa, the good thing is,
What part of Africa you gone?
the first place I went was the Gambia.
Alright.
But the good thing is, I never had a perception of Africa. My brain didn't process this place. It's just somewhere I'm going.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I didn't have any expectations. But when I got there, I started to understand that, wow, they're looking for us to save them, but we're looking for them to save us.
Right.
So there's a confusion going on here.
Yeah,
They need to preserve the culture so we can get it, but they're dashing away the culture to take our culture. The blacks in the West. And I'm saying to you that it's going to be the death of our people if we continue to do this. Because a lot of the stuff that we do over here, is because we've been polluted by 400 years of oppression and systematic racism, why we dress the way we dress, why we talk the way we talk. It's not by chance. Because if it was by chance, there would be individualities, but they're not. We all sound the same. It's just bare mini-me's. There's no originality. So we know that this is just like clones. They're just cloning us. Like, think the same. Anytime you think outside the box, here what we're going to do, we're going to give you $2.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to think outside the box. Malcolm X got shot, killed. Martin Luther King. Any side of the coin you want to go with, extreme, non-extreme, they're killing us. Because they're telling you you're not allowed to think for yourself. You can't act on behalf of your people. You must act on behalf of me. Because you're getting too boasty. So that's how it started. So from then, that's to answer your question. So I was disheartened because I was very passionate. I still am. Like, I want to see change. I hate to see our brothers, for instance, these young brothers on the world get victimized, kill ourselves. It hurts my heart every time I see someone black on black violence. And I know that, I know people that's involved in that life. It hurts me. Because I can't understand why you don't see what I see. Like, I don't understand why is it that you hate your brother so much? Like, there's a level now where you gotta say enough's enough. Yeah, they did this to us. Yeah. All of that white man, this, the devil's all, that's good, cool. But there comes a part in this now where you gotta look at yourself and say, what, like, do you not know better?
Yeah, definitely gotta start taking responsibility.
And that's the hardest thing though, isn't it? For to take responsibility and act on it. So I gave up for a while.
So what was the bad?
I've had Matt, to be honest with you, in Africa I had the maddest experiences in Africa. I got arrested. I did so much things. And I was young. I got to see.
What did you get arrested for?
Well, I was doing a lecture out there, but I have to print something, right? So I used to go to this. There's only one internet cafe at the time, yeah. There's a place called Gambia. That's the area. There's only one internet cafe in there, so I gotta go there. They know me in there, and I'm printing something. So the brother goes, "Cool, but I'm not charging you, like for the printing." So I printed off some of the stuff I'm gonna talk about in my speech. So I said to the brother, "Alright, cool. Read it." Like what I printed off, and I said, "Since you let me print this for free, I want you to read what I printed." Do you understand? To inspire him and to give him some strength, you get me? Because he showed love. Remember, they say these people are poor, but he gave me something for free, That's his livelihood, The love is this. I said, read it, bro. And while I was in there was 3 Europeans in the shop, 2 European ladies and a man. So we're talking, and the woman says to the brother, "Don't listen to him. If it wasn't for African people, if it wasn't for white people, African people would starve."
Wow. I knew you was going down this bad road. Let's go.
So I've turned my hand, like, I start cuss the woman, I'm gonna lie, I did some, I spat off, I was young. And maybe that wasn't the right thing to do at the time, but I was like, yo, these people are beneath us. I said, I was telling her, like, I was a bit more fired up, I said, these people are the devil, look at that. They mash up Africa, it's like I break your leg, and then I call you a cripple. Look at you, can't even walk, you're a cripple. I've broken this person's legs. I've made them a disabled, and now I'm insulting them for being disabled. Do you know what I mean? I was explaining to him that in places like the Congo, they cut off the hands, both hands of our brothers and sisters. How am I going to wash? How am I going to eat? If I take away your hands, like, this is the type of people that we're up against. But, so, in no time, police came, like, there was about 15 of them come with their guns and marched me through the street. I said, now you're treating me like a criminal.
Wow.
I said, I'm going where you're going, but don't be marching me through the street like I'm some thief. So got in the office, we had to go see the High Commissioner of the area, police head thing, whatever. And he was vexed. He wanted to arrest me. See, this is how people are, He was vexed that he couldn't do me nothing. Because little did I know that this woman was married to a very powerful African man in the area, and they had a lot of businesses. Because she said to me, how can I be racist, I got a black man, and I said, that's how I know you're racist, because why are you telling me that? Like, that's how I know, because you're trying to validate your racism. And they always do that, I'm not racist, I've got a black friend. But in their mind, dig this, in their mind, we're saying is, they will say to the black friend, oh, you're different, you're not like the rest. Because they separated this person from the entire race in high school. So that's what they did, and I'll cuss her out. And then the man ended up, you know what, just apologise, innit? I said, I'm not apologising to no devil. She apologised to me, I refused to apologise, and he just let me go.
So you apologised to who?
She apologised to me.
Oh, she apologised to you?
Because he could, after a while, he said, you know what, we're just going to let you go in it, because we can't hold you for what happened. Apologise, because now they've got us in, I'm telling the story, but they've got us in the room together.
Oh, okay.
So it's on a table like this, she's sitting there, I'm sitting there, the police, the head commissioner's sitting there, and all of the guards with the guns out. They got us in this interview. This is how they do it. This is how they do their interrogation in Africa, So they got me in there now. And he's like, when he's heard what happened, and I explained to him, I said, this is what she said, this is why I behaved the way, in the manner that I behaved. He just said, you know what, alright, let's apologise to each other and come and be gone. The woman apologised to me. I don't apologise to devils, innit? And I just, they said, brother, please, no, brother, I'm not apologising. And they just let me go. You know what I mean? I was there, my phone got robbed. Not robbed, but I dropped my phone in a car. Man took my phone. I know I got a call in the car, so I know my phone's in there. But I'm saying to you, the way how my African brothers, there was a brother out there called Big Up King Bowler. But he talks like a Jamaican. Never been to Jamaica, and he's like, gone, good Gambian brother, but he talks like a Jamaican. So what them do? Not say a word, I didn't hang up the phone, Within 5 minutes, the man's called my hotel, my guest house room's phone, and goes, come to the Chinese shop next to the car wash. The man's got the 2 man, then got back my phone, all kind of madness.
Wow.
They was gonna kill the man. I had to beg for the same man who took my phone, it's life. Because the phone I had, it wasn't the actual phone where I needed so back here. Remember, the second time I've gone to Gambia, I was invited by the president of Gambia, because like I said, I'm a Black Panther now. And I've gone back out there under this Black Panther thing. So even when I gone to the airport, my luggage is out, I don't have to line up, they come stamp my book in my hand. Yeah, so I was like a diplomat.
I've become a Black Panther now.
You can become a Black Panther. You know what I mean?
This is years ago.
This is years ago, so you know what I mean? This is like 2008.
Yeah. Have you still got connection with the
Black?
Gambia people that in Gambia?
Yeah, still got. I'm due to go back out there soon, man.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm due to go back out there soon because you know Africa is a beautiful place. It's just, you know what I mean? And like I'm saying, I got love, like the type of love that I don't know these people. You know, these people just show me so much love. But on a natural thing. Yeah, there's problems everywhere you go, and people just see you as money and all of those things, but there was so much love there, it was like genuine. But I just felt that for where I am in my life at the time, I don't need love, I need liberation. And you lot just on this love thing, I want liberation, innit? Like, you're not willing to fight for this, let's build something.
How are we gonna make something, basically?
Yeah, like you can love me from here to across the street, but that don't mean nothing, we're still in the same position. They will say we're just in that position with love. Like, no, do nothing for me. So I'm saying like, I'm still kind of like that as well. That's why you know, we need action, innit? We need to be able to do something, talking about things over. There's generation before me said the same things that I'm saying now. The generation before them did the same thing. The generation before that said the same thing. Like, when are we gonna stop saying this and do something?
No, definitely, 100%. No, what you're saying is 100% right. And like, as before you go on to that, 100%. And I want to big up Big Soul because he's out there with his books and putting his work in. So like, how did you start on your journey, and how did it begin? How did you get to do what you do?
My journey started basically from birth, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to give respect to my mother, Nefertiti, from a band called Lioness Chant.
Okay.
Also Aunt Fina. That was her band member.
Okay.
So with Lioness Chant, you can know that it's, you know, it's a powerful woman. You know, she used to come down the stairs when I was young. Lioness Chant, like, so I was around that. In fact, I had a naming ceremony. I was outdoored in a Ghanaian traditional way.
Nice.
Okay.
Like, so I was actually born into like a kind of, you know.
So people's Rastafarian.
Well, not just Rastafarian, I would say more Pan-Africanist.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? From like, even on my name Solomon Lee, like my middle names are Yauku Nyambui.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mum actually gave me them names. I was lucky because I could have been named Imhotep or something like that. Because my dad.
I know they must mean something.
Yeah, definitely. Like, born on a Wednesday,
Okay.
Yauku Nyambui. But the thing is, my dad, who is actually, you know, really hard man called Bunny Striker Lee, rest in peace. You know, he's into the reggae music, legendary music artist. But he was there, but he says too much for him, star. You're Okwa and Woko, my son. Because you know he's coming from that type of colonial mentality. So even when I was younger, I used to rebel against. I used to lie, and like when in school when they're calling out my name, even though I went to one of the only all black schools called John Loughborough. At the time, it was a 7-day Adventist school, but it was all black.
Okay.
Before they made it like everybody could go there. When I was going there, a lot of the greats, legendary people in the UK scene went to John Loughborough. You know, even like Getz, I saw him the other day, and we were catching up about certain people.
What area is that?
This was in Tottenham. Tottenham. So I'm from Tottenham. Yeah. Right. So it was like amazing school because you had like traditionally, you know, Caribbean and African teachers. So a lot of like, you know, big up More Education, my brother Ziggy Moore, who's got his own business, More Education. He's like, I still got a lot of childhood friends that we can reminisce on what it was like to go to an all black school. But at the time, because my name was like, my mum gave me African names, I was always rebelling against it. I was born into it. Remember, I had to, the same Minka Dofu, great man in the community, I used to have to go to his house for punishment and stuff. And write 1,000 lines if I was disrespectful to my mother, and that's mad. Like in Nkrumah Pepakai, who I still work with now, he's the distributor of the sole distributor of Black Child Promotions. I used to have to go to his house, have to go with him for African Liberation Day. But at that time, it wasn't a trend. You know how it's trendy now, kind of, to associate yourself with Africa, especially since the advent of Afro beats and the fusion into the popular music and all that. But when I was, especially someone of Jamaica, you know, I'm African, Jamaican heritage. That's called, even my dad will, every time he's around his friends, Simon, tell him your name again. So it was, I had to go through a lot. You know, I went to Nigeria twice as a young child. So, but I'm saying, as you go older, it helps you more grounded. So I went, I went off path. You know, I got sent to Jamaica to go to school out there. I've had a lot happen in my life still. So what happened is that in 2002, 2002, there was a conference in Barbados. So this conference was a follow-up to a conference that happened in Durban, South Africa, which was to address racism. So at the NGO conference, which is a non-governmental organizational conference in 2002, there was a woman called Esther Stanford, who's one of the leading forces in the reparations movement to this day. And she said, because I was young and she liked the way I was speaking and, the knowledge that I had as a young man, that if I wanted to come to Barbados to this follow-up conference. So that turned out to be a historical conference because you had delegations from all over the world, people from London, from the Nation of Islam to the Cable and Revivalist movement to the big link up, Kwaku as well, another big person in terms of the reparations movement. You can name them. So I went there as a young 18-year-old, and it was the best experience of my life because the first day that happened, the conference took place, there was actually, Kwaku rose his stick and said, listen, we see white people here, it's an African NGO conference, so we need a vote to basically exclude all of the non-Africans, not just the white people, all non-Africans need to be excluded from this conference. So it's not the Barbados now that's actually kicked out the Queen, this is Barbados back in 2002, where you're not even allowed to wear military. Because if you do that, only the soldiers can do that. It was actually called Little England at one time because it was known to be the colonial island at that time. So when we got there and they heard, it was in the newspapers, everything, even my granddad, rest in peace, from Jamaica, was saying, right, it was a big thing, they got voted out basically. All non-Africans had to, it was historic, they had to leave the conference. And that was primarily based on the UK delegation, because we had all the radicals, like Pepper Kai, Binnie Brown, from Birmingham. Like we had so many different generals, even some people from the original Hebrew Israelites that came from Israel attended that conference. So they got voted out basically to leave the conference. So a lot of pictures was taken, everything. So that basically formed the base after that as the contemporary reparations movement. So my job was as a youth person, like in youth leadership at that time, was to basically articulate what reparations means. And we came to the conclusion that reparations isn't monetary primarily. Primarily is to repair the damage, self-repair. Because right now, if you give black people reparations, that's the best thing they can do right now. Because Mercedes stocks will go up, Gucci, Fendi, we'll just give it all back to them because it's a mindset. Remember, we need a rehabilitation process. As Brother Minister touched on so many things, it shows you that we've gone through intergenerational, not wealth, but trauma. Intergenerational trauma, so this has never been addressed, never. And as Brother Minister articulately said, that only we can save ourselves. We have to be self-reliant, because remember, you can't go to a devil and say, can you stop oppressing me? That's his job. His job is to devalue. You understand? You can't convince him. So what you need to do is go within yourself. Only yourself can save yourself. So basically from that conference there, I pledged in one of the youth meetings that I would come back to England and I'll do something, just be a soldier in the struggle basically, because it's each one teach one. There's an African saying only a fool knows everything. So you can we receive and impart information, so we are educated as much as we educate. We learn as well, because there's so many people in the community with tacit knowledge that isn't explicit for everybody. People that if they die, that knowledge goes with them. And they don't know, so some of these elders, and they're never on social media or anything, you can't even find these secrets and these, you know what I'm saying? So being in the community for so long, I started a bookstore, and this was helped by groundings. At the time it was Seven Sisters Market, which is now being taken over by Latinos now, but before it was a Caribbean, African Caribbean market. So you had Mikey in there, big up Mikey. You had Newbud, he's still out in Seven Sisters now. You had Akiwali, we were in Wales with him. These are all the people that used to supply and teach me about basically street side knowledge, street side education. So when we were out there, you know, we started to propagate, and I just never stopped. Next year will be 20 years I've been doing it. I've been able to feed myself with it. I've been able to, you know, do so much. And we even used to do the DVDs way before the Chinese even did it. And when they came in now, they messed up everything. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because the police at the time in that place in Seven Sisters,
I remember.
It was a hot spot.
There was a little incident with
the
police.
That was the most popular one was the one that's referenced in Akala's book, Natives, Ruins of Empire, where a whole heap of police officers rushed me in Brixton. But before that, way before that,
why they say you never had a license to be the boss?
Well, what it was, is that they approached, the first time they approached me, they approached me in Tottenham. So we had educational DVDs, people like Renoko Rashidi, rest in peace, Hidden Colours series, Umar, like all of these people, we had them on DVD for my Asha Kwesi. You know, me and Minister, like back in the day, we were responsible for security for Asha Kwesi. And that's another story as well. We could tell you stories about that all day. And that's like almost 15 years ago. But at this point, the police said, all right, it's illegal what you're doing. You've got a lot of, you know, characters around. Because we used to just reason with everybody. So the whole block, there used to be enough of us on the block. So they'll be like, they couldn't work it out because there's no drug dealing going on or nothing. It's just people reasoning about revolution, but it just sounded noisy. So you had secret snitches in the community that would be calling the police saying there's a racket at Seven Sisters and this is what they're doing. And then you'd even have people coming up to going to my mother and saying, your son's outside with a whole heap of man drinking Guinness. You see now. Now it's more, you know, love what you're doing, bro. Back then they'll be going to my mum and say, you know, say your son's out there loitering about he setting up table and thing, just calling enough girl. And it wasn't revered like it is now. So at that time the police said, listen, all right, if you stop selling these on DVDs and you come with something like that's legitimate, then we'll leave you alone. So we killed Tottenham after that, because I said, all right then, just went to this one phone call, I called Uncle Pepperkai. He inducted me in the Marcus Garvey Foundation, which is something that predates me, something that's 50 years old, and said, listen, now stop everything else you're doing, you just focus on the books. You know all of the titles anyway, you know the information, so just do the book. So I stopped completely around 2015, like DVDs, it was fading out anyway. So I just focused, I used my street side experience to just focus on books. So when the police couldn't, we had the written letter, everything. So I went to Jamaica that same year. It was going good in Tottenham, everything was good, and I went to Jamaica before my dad passed. This is back in 2015. When I came back, I was like, nah. When I see how the man them were moving in Jamaica, I was like, these men basically have nothing and making, you know, a way. Remember, you have to pay for education. You haven't got no system. Even it's a system that many of our ancestors built. They don't have it there. They don't have the infrastructure to support their talent. So I'm like, what am I doing? So I came back here. A couple of the bredrens that I know, we said, listen, we're going to take this outside the Seven Sisters now. We're going to, even though we did before, we're going to do it again. So we decided to go to Brixton. As soon as we touched Brixton now, to get back to what you're saying now, they saw us. They say, one of the council members came to us now. I don't think he even works there no more. And he said, you and your friends, we see you, basically, we got you on camera exchanging a whole heap of money, basically. And the only way you can do this, is if you're a registered charity. So I said, all right then, Uncle Pepperkai, because you see that charity status that we have, can you please write that up for me, legitimate? So I got my charity status. So what basically he was like, it's like he's an agent, because as soon as we got there, he didn't like the impact we had in Brixton.
Of course.
Remember, we got experience, we know how to galvanize, we know how to reach out to the people. So there was a buzz around us every time we got to Brixton, because the books, we're not the first to do books, but it's like we revived it. It's like, wow, we haven't seen these titles for a long time. So they always rushed us, and it just, I think, you know, the authorities were jealous. And before that, prior to that, there was other people that were on their stalls that used to get hassled every day. You know, if you go into the Black Child promotions, there's an incense man there that's talking about it, how the police used to bully them, so you can't be here, this. So when we were there, we were basically like, you know, from 2015, from even like east, north, wherever we go, we're like, listen, we're a charity. Like our mentality is that if there's a brother who's trapping, basically, and he goes to hell, he's going to jail, like 6 years he's getting in jail in hell, you know, and he comes out and does the same thing. How much money, how much time you're going to give me for selling books? You're going to look like the bully because all we got is literature. So it ain't gonna, it's like we're bullying you with it, because when we set up, we're just like, we're a charity. In fact, we're not just a charity, we're part of the religion of Garvey. So we're going to go from there. So this man at the time, he had a whole heap of police with him. He's approached us prior, as I said. But with the police now with him, he thought that, okay, this is my opportunity this is in Brixton, this is my opportunity to you know, kind of make this man stand down. And basically, I articulated that at the time, because remember, there's differences with the EU, but back in 2016, I said it's part of the human rights legislation that we can receive and impart information without any disturbance from any public authority. And we were established, you know, there's newspaper, if the socialist newspaper can be out there, we're actually in newspaper articles. Yeah, and they asked me if I was selling books. I said no, because the difference is that if your primary purpose trading means that if you're trading on behalf of a charity, which we've been funding years back, a part of the donations goes back to the Art Centre, which is located 366A Tottenham High Road, which is Peckham Crewers, headquarters. So we've got a building. We've also, you know, got the charity papers. So there was nowhere to go. So, you know, in that he got frustrated, and he basically grabbed me. Yeah, and when he grabbed me, and then police started jumping on me. And all I said to him, all I said is that, you know what, I'm on my knees, and there's a saying that goes, I'd rather die standing up. You understand? Than live on my knees. And I just got up. A lot of people say, oh, he's strong. It's not the fact that I just said, Menard bow, basically. And he got me in a kneeling position. I have to stand up straight away. Just as the way I was raised, we understand? So, you see, within that now, they got, they locked me up. They locked another former member up as well. And the whole of the Brixton community, they kept our book safe and protested outside. In fact, one of the, you know, joys to me was to come out of the police station. I hadn't seen my brother in like maybe a few years. And he heard about what happened and made sure that he was one of the first faces. I was like, it kind of brought us together, more, like brought us back together, so, you know, that was legendary. And then after that, what was? Can I just ask, what did they bring you on? What charges did they arrest you? What did they bring me on? Obstruction or some stupidness. They just wanted to bring me in, basically, but it backfired on them because MPs heard about it. Major social media, so-called social media influencers, people I don't know, like just ran with it. I think on Channel 4, over 6.5 million people saw it. And then now it's been put in a Carla's book. Yeah, so you can check out the whole incident in the book, page 178. And I think, 178, Ruins of Empire. Okay. So, you know, and I never even had a conversation with him. He just chose to put it in there. So. Yes. All right. So back to the brother minister, because I met brother minister through like it's Instagram, isn't it? Instagram. And then he's mic.
No, I heard that track of yours, and that was I think that's how it started.
Ancestors.
That's some big serious.
I don't know about the ancestors.
That's how I met you. That's how I met the guy in the background.
We done it. You see us there on the video. We done the video.
That same song.
I was a stylist.
So that was just to uplift like my black people, because I see that, and that was before like all these like Black Lives Matter and all this thing like so. And what I clocked is like a lot of the black people like weren't really. They felt like a way like liking it. like it was when I felt like, man, like this is like for you, you know, felt like a way. I even got some Christians that had was like, I'm not liking it because you're going against the Christian by celebrating your ancestors. I'm like, what? So it was really messed up, like really. But yes, Brother Minister reached out to me and I come to his events that he used to do in Brixton. I used to do that track and a couple other tracks. And one of the things I would say, like when I used to go there, like sometimes after a while, so a couple how many events I was doing there, I remember like phone Brother Minister, I'm like, yo Minister man, it's time to move now man. We need to like do something like start like we need to like push like a movement. But no, they're not ready. The mind has to be there from the start, else it's not. I'm like, but I was like frustrated. Like, elaborate on that.
You know, it depends on what one is trying to do. To be honest with you, but like I said, I'm sure I mentioned this in the beginning that we've been polluted.
Yeah.
So we can't want to be clean vessels without going through the programming of purification.
Being clean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way we conduct ourselves, the way the manners that we deal with our brothers and sisters. So for instance, like if I was doing outreach work, there's certain brothers I know I'm not going to make them do the outreach work because then the way they talk to people, you're not going to get nowhere. You have to be trained. You have to be trained to be able to do that. And I'm like Brother Suls mentioned, he was talking about, you know, the trauma that we've got. Intergenerational trauma, so we need to kind of heal first.
Yeah, 100%.
Now we're not gonna have no movement with our brothers and sisters. It's the truth of the matter is we don't even like each other. So how am I gonna be your comrade on the battlefield and I don't like you? You're basically a dead woman.
Basically, yeah.
And I'm basically a dead man. So we've just got to learn. You know, when you get the knowledge, when you first start getting the knowledge, you're fired up, you're very zealous, and you know, you want change. We love our people, we want the change in it, but we've got to kind of understand how this change is gonna evolve, and that's where another man will say, no, we just need to do this, where another man will say this, fine, and like, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just saying this is my understanding, that we're going to have to unheal, we're going to have to unpack first, before we can actually be the change that we want, because you can't put up certain images out in the community, you can't be still living a certain life, you'll be a hypocrite.
So you're saying it all starts from the mind first?
Everything starts from the mind, everything stays. Your mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
You think something, you know you're going to speak it now. Your brain says, I'm hungry, I'm going to move to that, I'm going to pick up that bottle, I'm going to drink it. Your brain's doing all of this.
Yeah.
So if the mind's polluted, the actions is going to be polluted.
Yes.
You're not going to get clean actions from a dirty mind.
So you say even though some of the leaders at the top have
Leaders?
got the clean mind, like
Which
some
leaders?
or some of the people that's
leaders,
pushing the movement, because when we was doing it, it was like kind of your movement. I was like, yo, you got this gathering that you got now going. The people are coming. I'm like, yo, like, what's the next step? We're like, the people ain't ready.
Because you see where it is first, isn't it? Like you get somebody the knowledge in it, so you get the knowledge first. But now they're gonna have to want you. You're getting to the stage now where you feel me. You want to act now because you're getting the knowledge now. And you're like, all right, then boom, we got the food now. Let's move, innit?
Yeah.
But we've
What's
got
the next step now?
We need a certain amount of people to do a certain amount of things sometimes. You see, one-on-one coke, my grandma used to say one-on-one coke will fill a basket. So we're not saying we need 1,000 people, but we need a good amount of people that's going to be committed to their commitment.
Yeah.
Because they get fired up, they come to the meetings and you tell them, alright, then we got an organising meeting tomorrow, what we're doing for the Saturday school, or how we're going to go into the prisons, because we also do a book drive and things like that to the prisons and stuff. You start seeing people come late, people don't turn up, they'll come to the event because it's nice, there's music, there's girls, there's man.
When it comes down to that,
but now, what about that every other day? Like when I was saying earlier, is that we need to be on this every single day. Once a month is not going to get it.
Consistency is everything.
Every single day. You need to be working on your character, your mind, feeding your mind, body and soul every single day. Because these people are doing it every single day to destroy us. And we have to be futuristic. That's one of the things that lately I've kind of understood, that a lot of the time, and like the other people in the movement, they're not futuristic. They're stuck in 2000 BC. Yeah, that's all good, isn't it, knowing your history, but we're saying that we now need to move forward and create a history that our future generations are going to be talking about us, that this is what but we can't if we're following 2000 BC. That's beautiful history. Yeah, I agree, the best history on earth, but we need to be creating as well.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so I think that, you know, I hope that we do get to the stage, Brother Flash, where, you know, more and more brothers and sisters want to act, and, you know, instead of them going to, I don't know, Whiz Kids show for £30, they'll donate that £30 to build a school. Because you see them shows get 30,000 people, 20,000 people turning up to hear music. But we can't take that same money, right, and invest in the community to build something. But it's the mindset, isn't it? So we need to kind of change the mind.
Yeah.
Once we've changed the mind, our problems will be solved.
Yeah.
Because we're problem solvers now. So liberation and these movements, the reason why we failed, because we're not problem solvers. We just talk about history. We have to be problem solvers now. We have to solve our problems.
Yeah. So that was the next question I was going to ask. Like, where are you at right now? So right now, what are you doing?
Right now,
Have you given up on the black?
I would never give up. Majority of the time, I'm just a father, innit? I'm a man first, I'm a father. Like, my day-to-day is...
So I see that you haven't been doing the events as much.
No,
Obviously, COVID hit anyway,
COVID
kind of slowed everything down anyway.
shut it down, innit?
Yeah,
And then after, like I said to you, I was like, I felt like I did like 14 events that year there, before COVID. I put on 14 events in 1 year.
Excellent.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But we still didn't get the school. We still didn't get certain things that we needed. And I can't be upset with you for not donating to the cause. I can't get vexed because it's your money at the end of the day. Like, I see the need for it, but I can't be vexed with my people for the level that they're at. I can be, but is that going to get me anywhere? But grey hair and a lot of heartache. And because you see the struggle, to be honest with you, Brother Suls will tell you that he was born into it. Right? If you look at a lot of the elders, like his mum's generation, they do years of community work. Elder Minkers, the Pepper Kai, they do. Like, we're just doing coming up to 20 years. These brothers have been here 40, 50 years doing community work. And they don't get no ratings, they don't get no respect. There's no medal or honour for doing this. You're dying alone, sometimes broke. Do you understand? There's not no love for your brother to say, wow, this brother's done so much for the community, man. No, there's none of that. There's not even no praises when you're dead, no flowers to be given. They're not even giving you no flowers when you're dead. Them say, them do talk. That's all them do, talk. And look, now I'm dead. No, do nothing.
Our own people, man.
And these are the men that are on the front line for our people, man. The elder minka. When I first started, I wasn't born in it like both brother and soul, but I've done into the archives and started looking back at the old footages from the Stephen Lawrence cases, and it's the same faces I'm seeing that I've just met. These people have been out there from the Brixton riots, the New Cross riots, and they was out there on the front line. Some of them got locked up, some of them, you know what I'm saying? Things happen. But they're still in the community. People don't even know who they are.
True.
People don't even want to know who they are. And some of us say, it was one of the Brixton riots, or the Tottenham riots, man. But there's no respect, really. Like, if this was the RIA, these men would be idolized.
That's true.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because these men are freedom fighters. Yeah, they might not have the money, they might not have the Bentley, and they might not, but they are freedom fighters in the UK. Let's not think about America. Let's talk about where we are now. So I'm saying, I don't really want to be that guy. Yeah, that's in 20 years time, 30 years time, I'm going to die. And my people then forget all the work I did, and I gave my life for all of you guys, and you guys are going to shit on my name when I'm gone. So I said, well, my children come first. Do you know what I mean? No, you say that, but I put everything I put the movement before everything before myself.
That's how you was before?
No, that's how I still am.
You still are?
I'm training myself, to put my children first and to do these things first, because if something's going on, like suppose for hypothetical, there's something was going on, a movement, I got to go to a speech. That's whatever someone in my family, anybody calls me, I can't do it, innit? It could be a birthday, it could be something important. I'm going to this meeting. I'm going to do this, and I don't care whose birthday it is. My son, I'm in business, I'm going to this, because the people that need me.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we can't continue to do this, because we kill ourselves, and it's not like we'll get anywhere. So a part of me maybe just disheartened a little bit, but to be honest.
It sounds like it. That's the word.
Let's understand it. It's understandable.
Because when you're pushing and you're not getting the force behind you to help you, it's like you kind of be disheartened. You look at your people and you're like, I'm so disappointed in my people.
But I can't be disappointed in them.
That's what you're saying. So basically, you're reprogramming your mind from that mentality. So you ain't trying to put yourself out there.
As much as I'm not trying to give everything to this like before, because until there's a change in the mentality.
Does this mean that you've given up hope on the people?
You can never. You see the thing about this here.
Did I say that earlier? Not sure.
I don't. No. But the thing about this is a thing that can be changed in like 72 hours. So anything can spark the change. We're just gonna have to just want to have that change. So I'm just more sitting on the back seat now, waiting to see when our people are gonna move to that next stage of where I am at. because I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, but who's gonna move our people though? Who's gonna push them?
Nobody, only you can push them, innit? You can push yourself, I push my, that's how it goes. Only yourself can free your mind. Emancipation, Marcus Garvey says, no one but yourself can free your mind, you know. Bob Marley sang it in a song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one but yourself can free your mind. I can't do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. I can give you information that can help you, and I continue to do that. I'm never going to stop doing that.
That's what I'm not going to stop doing that. But
I'm never going to stop doing that.
We need you.
But at the same time, I can't be there for every call now.
Okay.
Where before that was it. This is it. This is nothing but this. I can't do that no more. I'm not going to do that no more. I hope I can't do that. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Because I say that and I'm still the same.
Yeah, because your passion there, I can hear it. The passion there.
But I'm hurt at the same time.
Yeah, your passion there,
you know
you're heartbroken, but you're sitting here, but if you hear anything, you're getting up straight away.
I can't be in my
You're
bed.
going to rise to the course.
I'm not going to stay in my bed.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be chill for too long?
No, I'm just saying that, you know, we like, even this week, there's three or four people's messaged me and said, Brother Minister, like, your events were very inspiring. Like, people came together, they met people. It was a hub. We need that, because there's no other spaces like that. Nobody got judged coming there. We had girls with different hairstyles. They didn't have to wear the African clothes to come in here. You come as you are. A lot of these other spaces, you've got to have an African name. You got to be born like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of that kind. We don't do that. We got rap music. We got Brother Flash coming in to do the rap music. We got Brother Souls doing the rap music in there. Like, we're not just like our consciousness is, you can't predict it. Because the person who you might see in here, yeah, it might not be what you necessarily would think is a revolutionary or a sister that's trying to free them. You wouldn't think that they're supposed to be here. They come as they are, because do you know what I mean? It's a natural spot for you. Yeah, if you go to church, they judge you. You go everywhere, they judge you. But if we love each other, there shouldn't be no judges. So I tried to create an environment that was not like the church, where you got to cover up. Even though we're not saying people must come naked in there, no, we must have manners. You know, I hope that my intention with brothers and sisters see each other there, they will get married. I've had visions of like people getting married in the struggle.
Nice.
They came to the meeting and they found each other, they got married, and that, you know what I mean? It's a family. We still kind of create a family. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I'm saying that I can't be the only man doing it.
True, man.
Yeah, one
it's
thing
tiring.
I will say is like, around the time we was doing your movements, there was other movements, other little movements here, there. But it seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like there was never really a proper link up with the movements. I don't know.
See what you about? See where you understand it as well. There's many different philosophies, my brother.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Now, remember, we've been in this for 20 years, innit? And we've got it from the elders that was in it longer. A lot of men are just creating something off of their own understanding and don't know shit, excuse my language. So I can't go and you need guidance. I'm not going to go and march with everybody. That's not what I'm on. I don't want to march, period. I don't march. I'm not in a marching band. I'm going to play drum. You know what I mean? I'm on that.
Yeah, not even marching, just
no, but I'm just saying, no, but what I'm saying to you,
something.
I'm saying to you that because of these things, people have different ideas of what they think the result is. Some people don't want freedom, they want to sit at the table. I want to kick the table down. I want to have my own table. I don't need validation from anybody else. I'm not seeking your approval. We say race first, meaning that we put our people before any other people on this earth. If I have a pound and there's a homeless man, yeah, black and white, is the black man is gonna get. You understand what I'm saying? If there's a youth that needs to be helped, I'm going to put more there. I'm going to help every youth, regardless of your colour. But if there's an option, I'll pick my black brother first.
Of course.
Because every other nation is doing this but us. In fact, yeah, we would leave. I'll give you an example, yeah? My friend's saying that his cousin went to Ghana, right, on holiday. But he linked up with another one of his cousins that came from America. He came with two girls, a white girl and a black girl, right? They were drowned in the both of them. He's gone in there to try and save the sister, couldn't save the sister, right? A passerby here that was just there swam past the sister to save the white person. The damage that's done in our mind, that life was worth more. That white life was more precious than our life. It's a thinking. So I'm saying we counteracted that, but at the same time I'm saying that we don't want to just unite with everybody, you know, Brother Flash. What are we uniting on? There has to be some principles and morals why we're coming together. Because black people cannot come together without there being a
No, that's why I
problem.
said like other
Without
black,
there being a
that's why
problem.
they say like other black
But you know what I'm
movements
saying
that's
to you?
trying to
This
do
is what I'm
like
saying. You don't know what they're trying to
similar.
do, brother Frank.
All
Brother
right.
Flash.
I'm
We have
looking
to be
from the
clear.
outside
I
and
get you,
okay.
but I'm saying you don't
Yeah.
know what they're trying. I'm saying,
All right,
I'm
cool.
saying that sadly enough, yeah, we shouldn't be around each other too much until there's something constructive going on. We should link up on constructive means. So that means now, if an injustice happened in the community, yeah, and this organisation goes out and we're out there, we don't work because we've got something to work on. We're not just coming together, just sit down, just to come together. I've done a lot of chilling in my life, sitting down, smoking, reading books. We've done a lot of that. But if we're coming together for a constructive reason. Because when we don't, people die, people get hurt. There's fights. Because we don't like each other. I've been one of the first men really to come out into the community and tell them we don't love each other. And I say it so much that people don't like it when I say it.
But it's
Because I hate it. Yeah, but we don't want to admit, like some of these organisations out there, they don't want to admit that. We don't like it, we actually hate each other.
It's true.
I used to use an analogy about the dogs, you know. When you see two dogs on the road, yeah, they just want to war each other. So when you see them, that's how we behave. When we see each other, it's not genuine love for my brother. Yes, my brother, long time, nice to meet him. No, it's like, bro, who's that you here? Where's he from?
So sad, man. Nuts. Crazy.
So I'm saying to you that the link up thing is not worth it. Right? When they're pan, man can't call me for no link up. If you call me, you want some knowledge, something positive. Let's link up on positivity.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. Linking up. When I said
Yeah.
linking up, them people, I was like linking up because you lot kind of.
Who? I don't know who. I don't want to put our names on the camera.
Yeah,
but after this is finished, yeah, don't do that. No, because like I said, characters good. We're not doing that. But afterwards, innit? Like mention some of these names to me, yeah, so I can kind of understand where you're going.
Like even maybe like someone like the event, like the events where I see you on stage. There's different speakers, ain't there?
Yeah, but they
So
don't
they're
like
from-
me.
Well, I don't know this, you know what I mean? So maybe that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
A lot of people want to feel good.
You just said it. You get me?
No, they don't like me because I don't come to make you feel good. I'm not gonna. You don't come to my meetings to feel good. I come to inspire you to get off your ass and do something for yourself and your people.
Yeah.
They want you to feel good because they want you to spend the money and come back. Because if you look at this, brother, you look at it on a thing.
So
What
you
is
say
gonna
they
get
don't
us-
like you because you're still saying it
I'm
too
too,
well.
yeah, I'm too harsh for them, innit? It's too much for them. They want to feel good. And what I'm coming with is direct, straight to the point. That's not what they want. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
too
to you, yeah,
sensitive,
we've
isn't
got to bring change, brother. It's not just about having a meeting, you know, talking about history and things. What is happening after that? What are we building in the community?
That's what I think. That's
so
the
I'm
sort
saying,
of
so
meetings
all
I'm
of these,
thinking
so all of
about
these
that.
organisations that you've mentioned or thinking in your head, yeah, what is the program for the youth? Because we all know the youth is the future. If none of these organisations got a program for the children, they're not a moving forward organisation.
Yeah.
What is the program for the youth? The future for our people? They don't have it. There is none. They might have a thing for their child, but how's that benefiting the community? We need something for all of these children because ultimately my son's going to marry your daughter.
Yeah.
So if your daughter's not on the right level, my son's going to have a hard time. It's a community thing we're doing here now. We have to not just think it's our children. We need to, as conscious people, all of these conscious organisations that's out there, we need to be focusing on the youth. And not just the youth, but we have to have a program that is continuously evolving.
Definitely.
So it's not set in
That's
stone.
why I thought you lot could have came together and come to a
wish.
common
Why do you think I'm so
place where they
stressed,
can-
Fresh?
so
Why
they
do you think
can
I'm so
all
stressed?
build. And everyone's
Oh,
community,
stressed,
everyone's
man.
followings, everyone's followings can come as
You
one
see,
now.
you see when you say come together,
Yeah.
right?
It's just like
I'll give you an example. Same thing that Brother Minister was just touching on. It's come together to do what? Just like, for example, the organisation we have, like Black Child Promotion,
Yeah.
side by side with AWF or UNIA. As I said, I've been with this brother, you know, as a comrade and a brother for over 20 years. So even he's one of my close brethren. I don't see him every day. We don't talk every day.
Yeah.
We're both family people. But if I say to him, Brother Minister, we've got to go and do some outreach in Wales.
Yeah.
If he phones me and says, brother, you know, I would like you to forward to
Like
this
today.
today, then we something we can agree on.
Yeah.
It's something with purpose. Like within Black Child Promotions, we've been able to employ over 15 people. Some of these people have gone on to get jobs. Some of them are, you know, families, universities. A lot of the people that have worked at Black Child Promotions, they've met their lifelong partner doing it.
Yes.
And then like during like summer holiday period. Yeah, so you know, we've managed to employ a lot of young people. Big up my godson Ezzy, you know, taking his GCSEs next year. I think next year. And he always comes out when we're going Peckham front lines, Brixton front lines, you know, the previous reparations marches. He was out there with me. You know, we employ females as well. Big up Sister Temi, and she's worked with me for about 2 years. You know, lifting up the boxes, everything. You know, so you know, she was out there on the front lines with me. So you know, that's women and children there. It's important to note that Dr. John Henrik Clarke, one of our greatest scholars, said that revolution starts within the upliftment of the black family. So even when you hear a minister talking about focusing on his family, that's in fact what Garvey and Dr. John Henrik Clarke said to do. Because from the family starts the community. That communal system. Before you had socialism, communism, you had African communalism, where it took a village to raise a child. So you know, even you know, Brother Minister reminds me of Minka as well, or the Minka, because that's every time you see Minka, he's taking his children to meetings. He's every time I phone Minister, he's with his youths. You understand? So it starts with the black family. We need remember the hardest thing. Another quote from Minister: the hardest thing for a black man to do is keep his family together. It's the hardest thing because they've done everything to try to divide us. So you know, we need to be like even me, better fathers. You know, we need to uplift our black women. This is where the revolution starts. Because remember, you could go on the Black Lives Matter march or one of these marches and you got Mozungu women, European women holding up, you know, black penises saying black penises matter and all that. Is this the people we're marching from?
Is this what they're doing?
This is what they were doing the last
what
marches.
What are you saying to me?
So think about that. Yeah, the same thing we're supposedly fighting against. That's why I'm saying we can't unite with everybody because people have got different perceptions of what true revolution is. You understand? So we're not marching with certain people, you know, that have certain other agendas, because what we need to realize is that in a lot of these things, protests and a lot of these, you've got other people from different spectrums, like the leftist organization, the alphabet, all of these organizations with their own agenda come and try to capitalize off black issues. You understand? So we need to be mindful of that. It's much better to build a strong foundation, educate your children in the way that they should go. Try to stick, you know, with your black woman, help her. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not together anymore, find a system where you can both look after the children. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these are the family is the fabric of our community. That's very fundamental. So, you know, we're very much family, you know. He's my comrade, but we're family. So that means it's like a network. We know what we're on. We're on race first. That's not for everybody. But within our own, a community could consist of 3 people. It doesn't have to consist of a lot of people. You know, so, you know, I thought it was very important to mention that, you know, a lot of, even at that, with the first bookstore, all black bookstore in one of the centres of capitalism, which is Oxford Street. You know, so it took a lot of fight for us to even set up there. We've been there for the last 7 years. We've reached all of the, sometimes the youths them come into night town. I remember one time, a group of youths them, they were going into the night town, but I think they were hustling something. And they got money, you know, but they're just doing their hustle. The security shut the door and then there's about 9 of them, they kicked the door. And then when they walking back past us, one of the man said, I just had a daughter, you know, fam. Yeah, I want to get one of these books. It was a good day for me, you know. You know, I said, yo, brother. I stopped the brother, I say, yo, brother. He goes, yeah? I just heard you said you just got a daughter. Take one of these books for your daughter. The man said, what word? I goes, listen, we always on some bad man thing with each other, so why can't we be on some love things? You understand what I'm saying? Then he really appreciated it. The man, they started taking out money out of their socks and spending money. I say, yo, ISIS papers, what's this about, brother? I say, yeah, it's about, if you've ever seen that film Baby Boy, there's an analogy of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the author of this book, in the beginning of that film. Yeah, I seen that. I remember when he's in the womb. And then you just connect the dots, and then you just leave them with that, because one of the things that we must realize is that we can't always preach to the youth. We have to provide something for the youth, because if they can make that on the road, you understand what I'm saying? They don't listen. Even some of the nefarious characters within the community, if they can say, listen, I can put £200 in you go country, you put this in your pocket. They're looking at the money. They're not looking at what's righteous or whatever like this. So sometimes you have to incentivize. Even people like in the Europeans, some of the oppressors, they talked about Frederick Taylor, these people that you learn in human resources. They talk about incentivizing your workforce. Incentivizing. If you can't just have people working and you're not giving them no incentives. There has to be an incentive to work. So sometimes you say like incentives sweeten labour, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, let's incentivize our youth. Let's say, listen, call my godson and say, listen, I don't know how much we're gonna make. We've got to do this and we've got to do that. But if you're gonna get a change in your pocket if you work hard. And then that shows him now he wants to be an entrepreneur. Now he's gone back to his school and said, listen, I need to get some books for the centre and go and get them into my library. So he's gonna be bigger than me now. So what I'm saying is that let's spark. You never know the mind, the youth. With every revolution starts with the youth, and the youth, when you reach out to them and provide something for them, you might spark the mind that changes the world.
100%. Yes, bro. Yeah, no doubt. I just wanted to add something here, not to that, to something I said before. Because I know some people will be listening to me saying, "Brother Minister's not, he's given up." I just want you to appreciate like the people like Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and these people, because Malcolm X died in front of his kids. A black man came in there and shot him in front of his kids and his pregnant wife. When Malcolm X died, nobody looked after Betty Shabazz. Nobody from the community paid for Malcolm X's kids to go to school. So I'm saying I'm not happy with them making me a martyr. This thing that, you know, we do, we give a lot and we don't get it back. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like there's appreciation for this thing. So sometimes man just can't be bothered, innit? To be dealing with people and they're ungrateful. I'm a human being and I'm not a robot. So sometimes it takes, you know what I mean? But ultimately it doesn't change my philosophy. I still believe what I believe. It's still, we still got to do for self.
No, definitely, because even me, I was getting frustrated and I'm not even in your position. I'm having enough problems, so I feel your pain, definitely. 100%. Alright, so in a perfect scenario, in a perfect scenario, and perfect world, how would it pan out in your eyes for
if we talk about ideal world, we love ourselves, we do for self, we live for self, we have our own
what's
culture.
happening in Africa, what's happening?
Everything, we're united, and there's one culture across the whole spectrum. Wherever you find yourself, regardless of your tone, colour, complexion, whatever, language barrier, we're all Africa. And we deal with race, black things, we got businesses interlinked, schools, universities. We take care of, like, the ideal world is that I have a child in my hospital, the baby gets born in my hospital, we have a black nursery, the baby goes to the nursery, then it goes to the black primary school, then it goes to the black secondary school, the baby goes to the black college, the black university, then it creates another job, or it goes into the black institutions, it's got its black land, and we live a happy black life. We're all black and we die, but that's not the reality. But that's the ideal world, and every other people's got that but us. I think we need to, the stage that I'm at now is understanding that we have to be futuristic, and a lot of the time we're not thinking about the future, we're more thinking about the past. Even I find myself going into the past, bringing up a lot of Garvey even, like I probably quote, other than probably Shakara, big up yourself, I probably quote Garvey the most. But it's not about quoting Garvey, it's about actually doing this work that Garvey was talking about. So although AWF was what I created when I was 19, we're not even using, I don't know if you're aware, we're not even using that anymore.
I see that.
Which was Marcus Garvey's organisation. We are now the chapter for Europe and London. I'm so-called vice president or president of the European.
So you ain't going by AWF no more, you're going by
the UNIA, which was Marcus Garvey's organisation.
What's UNIA stands for?
For the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Although we don't use the word Negro no more, they still keep the N in there, but I'm saying it's not about reinventing the wheel. The legacy stands for itself, speaks for itself. I don't need to create something to say I created it. I join a movement, or I join a body that's got people in Costa Rica, black people all over the world. I've joined into that organisation to just help. Which I'm doing the same thing that I would have done with AWF anyway. But when they got conferences going on, I'll get the call. So I'm linking up with brothers all over the world. So that's how
so you're still there in the
I'm saying 14 events in 1 year.
When you're not going in like that, you ain't taking your time. I know, but obviously it's been COVID, so everything's kind of been shut down. Even when I'm in a couple.
COVID's gonna go on.
This is like the proper summer that is kind of open, isn't it?
No, COVID weren't even here. Yeah, COVID, but I'm saying there's no excuses.
No such thing.
I'm not making excuses. If man wanted to do a meeting, I could do a meeting tomorrow, and I can do an event next week.
You're taking a break.
There is no break in this
show. Another angle. That's
you Malcolm X can take a break. Marcus Garvey can take a break. But what I'm saying is that, what Brother Suls was saying is that I'm just moving the focus a little bit.
Yeah.
So that front public speaking, what I was doing before, I don't want to be the face no more for it. Let me just sit in the back and make another man the face or whatever.
Let me just tell you this, because we had a conversation on camera, and I think it's off camera, so we're talking about diet and all this thing. But I'm gonna relate it to this. No, but I'm gonna relate it to this right now. Yeah, is that you see when it comes to the struggle, I got a different perception. Yeah, you see if you got a man over here, that's a reggae ras. He's got long dreadlocks down to the floor, talks about Africa, but his life is contrary to that. For example, you know, I'm not judging people, but I'm saying you promote Africa, but you're promoting it with a European woman on your arm. You know, you're like one of the tourist dreads that's mascot for tourists. You understand? Like, one love, let's all get together. You know what I'm saying? All of them kind of things there. If you're into that more, yeah, and you got a man over here that's eating pork, but he looks after his family, black family with his black woman, uplifting black nation, yeah, Pan-Africanist or, you know, just African liberation, black liberation. I'm with the man that over here, regardless of his, but it's not all, even the scripture says it's not always what comes into your mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out of it.
Okay.
So if you're still upholding white, because remember, the whole Rasta movement has been infiltrated from a long time ago, you know. Biggest integrationist movement. How can we integrate without having no justice or equal rights? Even sometimes, when we were in Wales the other day, we're seeing Europeans with dreadlocks that want to walk past us like they're more Rasta than us. Like them, like they're Haile Selassie, basically. His imperial majesty. You understand? So what I'm saying is that we have to have racial pride, you know. We don't have that racial pride. That's what's absent, is that we're not willing to defend. We become like used to seeing black people suffer. Desensitized. When we see, another black man died, another black man, it's normal. We have a reaction to it. This is why Amos Wilson said, we deny the ambiguity of power to our peril. Our refusal to accept its existence doesn't make it suddenly vanish from reality. Meaning that we should be apathetic towards power. We should attain power. Do some things that Brother Minister said, institutions, schools, build from the ground up so we can actually have something of our own. Everything with us is always reactionary. All right, incident happens, let's call out, you know, like, you understand? Like, so we need to stop being reactionary and put our front foot forward and do things, attain things, ownership, you know, if intergenerational wealth instead of intergenerational trauma. Like, let me show you another an example of lack of racial pride. Yeah, so Brother Dijon Reed, a brother that was hunted down, yeah, and killed by these racists, yeah, that called him a nigger after they killed him. Like, imagine a black man, 40 years old, killing a white boy that's a minor. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the next day, because sometimes, you know, I listen to the young people's music, and I'm hearing responses that, you know, if another black man's got a difficulty with another black man, they're quickly to address it. Less than 24 hours, they say. They say that there's a thing that, listen, we have to have a response within 24 hours or you're kind of soft. So how many hours have gone past since this happened about a year or so ago? No responses. None of our big rappers or big gangsters. Because the point is that none of the real gangster, yeah, isn't us. We are powerless. This is why it's important to read Amos Wilson's book, Blueprint for Black Power, because it shows you that we're powerless. Even at street level. Where did our youth get these weapons from? Exactly. Where do they get these weapons from? If you look at you know, shout out Faz Amnesty, yeah, that's taking these knives and weapons and creating an amnesty for that to happen. But one of the powerful things that this brother revealed is that you have online retailers called Anglo Arms and these big retailers that are selling knives, like European companies that are selling knives to inner city communities with impunity, without corporate social responsibility. So we're talking about, there's a difference between white collar crime and blue collar crime. It's all, the black youth is just talking about his experience as a street soldier. He's in the high echelons. Which black man do you know that can move contraband from country to country? So we're always at the bottom. Even, what's his name, Behold a Pale Horse by Cooper goes into whether it's illegal or legal, the same people run it, you know. That's right. There's no organized firm that any of these black gangs can come up against. In fact, they're supplied by them. Right. So we need to, there's another book called From Niggers to Gods. I encourage you to read it. It shows you that if you're in a laboratory Yeah, they've got us in a laboratory. Our communities, our sanitized realities or our communities are those laboratories that they've created. So you got an alcohol shop in a black community. You got all those nefarious things that can alter your behaviour. Whereas in their communities now, shops are closed at 12 o'clock. So youth ain't loitering on the streets as much as they're loitering in. So they create the environments and blame us for being the way we are. When we are powerless, we don't have any power.
Yeah, break down, go into that a bit more. Tell them about the experiments, how they had it. If you give the was it? I think they was talking about mice or something.
Yeah. So basically, they said that if you, for example, say like you're in a laboratory now, and you had a gerbil or something, and then in one environment you had lettuce, grapes, all of these things, and then in another environment you put crack resins and some poison and this. Which gerbil is gonna survive the environment or flourish in the environment? So these alcohol shops, 24-hour shops that serve alcohol. Remember, you can go I don't know about Brixton, but I know Tottenham. You can go any time of night and get alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol anytime. You can't go to other areas and do that. You can't go to certain parts of Highgate and Muswell Hill and get alcohol at these late hours.
It's closed by 7 o'clock.
It's closed by 7 o'clock. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to remember the children are the ones that they have as the gerbils in this thing. So anyone with any type, because consciousness isn't dressing up in dashiki, you know. Consciousness is awareness of what of the environment that you live in. It's awareness of what's going on. So those of us who are aware need to educate the children, because they're the future. They're the ones that's going to be the future leaders. They're the ones that's going to be making the future decisions. And this is why it goes back. This is why I always stress the fact. When we have a private conversation, I say, Minister, you could never leave the struggle. You inspire me, because by you being with your children every day, you're training the young kings now to become as stronger and greater than we're going to be.
It's true.
Because you're spending that time. You understand? Because imagine I'm going out there and I'm trying to save all these people and my children ain't saved. What does that say about me?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Charity starts at home, you know.
Definitely.
That's what happens. Because going back to Malcolm X was out here trying to save our kids, and he died. He got murdered by our people, right? And no one looked after his kids.
Some of them, even his grandson the other day.
Yeah, his grandson was murdered in Mexico.
His daughter just passed on.
Yeah, so you know, so yeah, that's very good that you mentioned that. Because people need to kind of look at that. Like, why is it that we behave the way we behave? What is it about us that we behave like this? And certain of these things is the reason why.
So basically, you're saying that our people really don't respect people that put themselves out.
Oh no, definitely not.
And also, just remember this as well, what the brother was saying as well, racial pride. That's what we need, you know. That's all, racial pride. Put yourself first. That's like, don't worry about people calling you reverse racism, because their level of oppression is irreversible.
That's right.
You've never seen a black person go and shoot up no school. The worst road man ain't going into no cinema and shooting up 50 innocent people. Yeah, even the analogy, let's go back to that analogy. Let's talk real talk. So black on black crime, yeah? But we've already established that we're not the suppliers in the distribution or logistics system. We're at the lowest rung, legal or illegal. Now, if you've got a unit that deals with initially, they'll say it's multicultural now, but initially it was built to tackle black on black violence. So what about 90% or 95% of the nonces that are white? Why don't you have a special white on white nonce unit then?
Why have I never heard of white on white crime? When white people fight, it's called world wars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you that we getting programmed with these words, and all of these things, and we don't know that it's actually making it worse.
Exactly.
The next is about post-Cold Wars, you know.
Yeah.
You see certain of these post-Cold Wars that I'm seeing now. I remember as a kid, you know, we used to have like country trips, like we'd go Margate, we'd go Hastings, and all of these coach trips. Man from Brixton, man from there's coaches going from every end. We grew up amongst each other. So when did this post-Cold War start?
It's true, you know. It's true.
And look at the public records as well, my brother, because even I'm going to tell you, what's his name again? I forgot his name now, but it will come to you as I speak. back in the 90s, and we're in 2022 now, we've already established, remember, Stephen Lawrence happened in 1993, the McPherson report, where one of their MPs came out and said all institutions are institutional racism. That was back in 1993 and 1999. We've just seen our brother that I just told you about, Dijon, getting racially abused and murdered.
When was that? What, yeah.
2021, I think? Yeah, 2021, yeah? So, nothing's changed, basically. Nothing's changed. So, basically, only we can save ourselves. Because the odds are always going to be stacked against us. Just like rest in peace grandma said, when you're black you have to work twice as hard.
Yes.
A lot of us have that.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that going up? You hear that going up?
Yeah.
You hear that going up?
Yeah.
But the question is I had to ask my grandma is why I got to work twice as hard. I said, I'm not doing it. I was always a runaway slave. I said, if I got to work twice as hard as the another man, I don't want the job.
Yeah.
You either then accept me for the work that I'm doing or don't give me the job. I'm not sparring out for you, but that's the spirit that we need to have. You know, like when I went to Africa, because they were used to send like second-hand clothes and stuff like that. I just say to them, like, well, we don't need none of their dirty clothes, you know, send that back. Send that back. It's a big business in Africa, you know, second-hand clothes. Big, you're millionaires. People are millionaires off of it. But I'm saying the pride. How come you wearing these dirty people's clothes? The pride. Like if I have racial pride.
You know, racial pride. And that, the moment we get racial pride, remember, I've seen incidents, where I think I saw one where a black queen was on a train and she's just trying to read just sit down or read her paper, and one white man's next to her taking her paper and slapping the paper for no reason, you know, just provoking her on the train, basically could be classed as assault. And I'm not even looking at what's happening now, I'm looking at all the brothers just sitting down, watching, doing nothing.
So this was a black woman.
Black woman sitting on the train, and the white guy's just antagonizing her, slapping away her paper, and she's so dignified, you know, because remember, many of our grandparents and all that are dignified people, you know. Yeah, we bought hygiene and all them things there. The Windrush never just come with the wind, it came with hygiene, it come with technical ability, all of them seasoning, all them things. So what I'm saying is that she was dignified. But I'm saying all of these brothers, them just on the train doing nothing.
Sad.
So we're imagine, I'm thinking, some of these brothers them are willing to go prison for life, put drugs up their backside and all sorts of things to kill their own brother or to kill themselves. But they'll see another black person or black woman struggling and won't even help you across the road with your handbags. So what are you willing to die for? What are you willing to live for? What are you willing to die for? Yeah, but these are only things that, as I said, those of us who are aware, because I don't want to confuse consciousness with just the culture of consciousness and having natural and all these type of things and all this. It's not about this, it's about awareness, bro. It's awareness. Like, for example, if the police stop you right now, I know you as a brother, you'll be able to, if there's a brother, like, it's happened many times on the store, brother's got his hood up or whatever, police stop him right in front of us. The first thing is this a justified search? On what grounds? He might not be able to articulate that at his age. So it's those are where listen, it's not about movement, you know, it's about movements. What's your movements? As individuals, we can make movements, you know, that create a wider movement, you know, organic, because nothing should be forced. Sometimes when you tell the people come together, they're not going to come together. But when you step out on example, all right, this is what's happening. It precipitates. It's like a snowball effect. You understand? It just takes one to spark. Look how you're still inspired, though. I'm still inspired by Brother Minister's events. You witnessed young people come up. And that's still, what's that led to? That's led to you being inspired, doing podcasts, great things in the community. So sometimes these things are cause and effect, you know. So let's have positive cause and effect rather than negative cause and effect. That's how you counteract, you know. 100%. That's how you counteract.
100%. Alright, cool. We're going to start to wrap it up. Before we wrap it up, it's been a quite serious session.
I've learned so much. I've learned so much, and I'm even more hungry than I started this. You understand? I'm very hungry.
For the knowledge and it's knowledgeable information that you're giving for the people and that the people need to hear. So on your journey, give us a funny scenario that you've experienced, like that's like, just make you look like, bro. Can it be funny? Because I know it might.
Yeah, we need to try. It's funny. Alright.
Even though it might be, I know it might be. So now I'm aware.
Yeah, oh my god. I'll give you I remember, okay. One, I gotta give you at least two then.
Yeah,
at least.
please.
So I got one. I'll give you one, yeah? Yeah? One, yeah? Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. True. What I'm saying is, What I'm saying is, alright, I'll give you the one then, yeah? I remember there was a imam in Birmingham, yeah? And the imam in Birmingham, he must have said, brothers, he goes, you're Asian. Yeah, like, no, he never said you're Asian. He goes, you're Muslim, you're not black. And this man took it to the Pakistan community in Birmingham. You're a Muslim, you're not black, my brothers. You're a Muslim, stop listening to their rap music. Stop acting like them and speaking Jamaican. So I must have seen one of them that's connected to one of them in London. That's like, looks up to him. And he came to me with his full robe, everything. You know, I got my Rasta hat and bunny, my spliff, and I never even approached him. He goes, brother, do you know about Islam? I said, alright, brother. I said, remember that guy that that you were taught, that you said, because I've seen him before, he said, you support the guy that says, brothers, you're not black. You're a Muslim, stop listening to that. I goes, is Africa mentioned? I went to his, I said, is Africa mentioned in the Quran? He goes, yes. I goes, how many times? I goes, wasn't Bilal a black man? He goes, yeah. He did the first call to prayer, right? In Medina, right? Yes. He did. So all the surahs that you see reciting and how beautiful you think they are, it all stems from Bilal, right? Didn't Bilal say Ahad, meaning one God, when the Arabs were whipping him? Yes. So I said, so King Nagashi, Ethiopia's in there? Yes, it's in there. So, right, we've established it's in there all through the Quran. I said, well, where's Pakistan in the Quran? I was, wow, I never really looked. I said, yeah. I said, Pakistan is not in the Quran. In fact, there was nothing called, there was no such country called Pakistan. Yeah, it was, and back then, it was called the Indus Valley. Yeah, Islam never reached the Indus Valley before 79 years, approximately over 79 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
So when you're talking about brothers, you're no black. We were Muslim before you, brother.
Okay.
We're in the story. It doesn't matter how much henna you put in your bed. It doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't matter how black your head is from praying and all them things there. I told him even I started schooling this brother to the brothers like, bro. Like, because he thought loads of times you see when they see someone burning their spliff, they think you're gonna be like, one love, let's get. You understand? But we're Garveyites, so we're not coming with that one love. It's love still, you know. Yeah, because we're people that are of love, but we ain't got no love for white supremacy, and we're not gonna scratch where we don't itch, like Leo Muhammad says. I'll quote Leo on that. Yeah, we're gonna challenge you. So after I finish challenging now, the man's like, oh my brother, and your name Suleiman as well. Brother, you know so much, you know? And so that was like a funny story. Because I was like, brother, yeah, your imam saying about, brothers, you're not black. But you're right, you're not black, because we're in the story, but you can't find it doesn't mention Pakistan. It might touch on the Indus Valley. So I can even go into that, because remember, within the history, we can go into their thing as well. You know?
That's right. We studied.
Yeah.
We don't just study African, we study.
We study, yeah.
We're trying to look up with the time, but to study, we don't, studying African history is studying world history.
Yeah.
So that includes these people, so we know these people too, and we know them very well.
Yeah.
So when they come to us, regardless of what we can tell them about, we can even encourage them. Like, a lot of times I've spoken to Irish people, and gave them strength. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of the time I look at the Irish struggle and say, yeah, I rate you guys, you know, I wish black people were more like that. Like the Irish, you know, they have things on their wall, no snitches get bullets, like anybody that goes against the movement is gonna die. If that was the RIA, Malcolm X killers would have dead the next day. But they walked around until they died.
Yeah. The kid, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, alright.
Before we wrap it up, alright, where can people find you? And
Well, we can find on Instagram Black Child Promotions, Facebook Black Child Space Promotions. YouTube, Google, anything, Black Child Promotions, and we always post our locations. So our main location now is Oxford Street, yeah, Central London, and if we're anywhere else, you'll see us post, and then you can just come to the community store, yeah? So check us out.
Yeah, same thing, Instagram, UNIA London 1. UNIA London is another one as well. But yeah, we're on YouTube as well. If you type in Brother Minister, you might can find some of the lectures online and catch me in the ends, innit?
You want to stay sharp before we wrap it up?
Guys, thank you for coming on again. I've learnt so much from you guys today. Definitely be checking you both out and purchasing some books. I need to come to Oxford Circus ASAP. Are you there all the time?
Well, we used to, but you know, I'm not no spring. I know I said chicken, but I'm not no youngster again, so other obligations, you know, parenthood and all these things.
Of course.
So we tried to go at least once or twice a week.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
and we always, as I said, we always post our locations. But even if you can't get there physically, well, you need the experience anyway. So you have to get
the experience, and then after you can post them to me.
So if anyone else out there needs post, we can also send titles through post first class delivery. Okay. But yeah, we always post our locations, usually Thursdays, Fridays. So
cool.
yeah.
Big up my brothers, man.
Yeah,
man.
Alright, peeps, that's it. Till the next episode, yep. Done now, Truth and Banter, we out.
That was fun.
Knowledge in that one there still. And that wasn't even a 1% still. We could have gone for everybody else.
Get started.